actually upset after a picture went viral showing what appears to be a policy dictating hairstyles for black kids at a Georgia elementary school. It's a school right outside of Atlanta. Here's the picture, we have it. And in this photo, you can see in the left-hand top corner, you have what's called labeled appropriate hairstyles. And it's just 4 little boys with like a simple bald fade with a sharp line in the front. And then we've got on the right, what's considered inappropriate hairstyles. And on the bottom left, inappropriate hairstyles, 2 little black girls, one with like cornrows, the other with the same hairstyle that I wore up until I was maybe 10. Just a bunch of little pigtails with barrettes. On the boys, if you can't see them, they just have like lines cut into their hair, little froze. So the district, the school district, this happened at Narvie J. Harris Traditional Theme School in Decatur. It's part of the DeKalb County School District. And the district officials actually put out a statement saying the picture doesn't reflect their system-wide grooming policy. I want to show you part of the statement. It says, the images depicted in this post in no way reflect the DeKalb County School District policy regarding appearance. This was a miscommunication at the school level and is being handled by school leadership. Non-traditional schools at the DeKalb County School District sometimes have the option to enforce dress code and style standards.
Guys, let it go. It's the year 2019.
Right.
Right.
That's great.
I remember growing up, there were more schools that had dress codes and hairstyle codes and stuff. I went to a public school, so I didn't have that. But and I remember the Yankees wouldn't allow mustaches or beards because there was a sense of like what is decorum. So if you play for the Yankees, you can't be slovenly and have a beard. Really? Like we're still doing this, right? Okay, your hair should look like this. Why do you care about what my hair looks like?
Right.
What a weirdo thing to care about. I mean, like, and you know where it comes from? It's actually a conservative thing. I don't mean to make it political in that sense, but what do I care? Sure, if you want to consider it political, sure, okay? But I'm talking about how our brains are wired. The conservative brain is wired to respect tradition more and think that tradition by definition is better. Right? That you should follow tradition for the sake of tradition. Whereas I look at it and go, yeah, but why? Why were we doing that tradition? Was it a good tradition or a bad tradition? And traditionally, being well kept, and this is in all the religions. And so this conservative trait goes all the way back. It's actually particularly pronounced in Hinduism and for Sikhs, etc., but in a different way. You have to make sure that you either cut your hair or don't cut your hair, and your hair has to be maintained in a certain way. So look, it's not 3,000 years ago where if you didn't have certain grooming habits, then you might endanger the community and there might be more spread of disease. That's where it came from. That's why it was in the religious texts, but we forgot. And now in the year 2019, we're like, oh, remember what that rabbi said 3,000 years ago about a situation that doesn't apply at all anymore? Let's do that.
But also, I'm 33 and I wore that same hairstyle as a little kid in 2019. It is traditionally, it's just traditionally black, and that is the problem.
Yes. No, exactly. Thank you.
In so many different places, their hair. Do you know how long it takes to put 49 different ponytails in a head? If that is unkempt, you know what I mean. Nobody does their hair. Like it is just because it is traditionally black. Hairstyles that are culturally black, that are dreadlocks, braids, French braids that are just a simple protective hairstyle for little black girls or little boys wanting to wear their fro and not cut it down. That is seen as dirty,
no, it's
not
offensive.
Done, not nice. Women still to this day in the workplace who wear their natural hair. JR's hair would get him not called back to a job interview at half the corporate companies in America.
Yeah, no, like, it's a matter of race and the fact that the hairstyles we saw on the right, that's more associated with otherness. It's that reminder that screams, oh, it's blackness here, so let me try to minimize that as much as possible. Make sure you have straight hair, make sure you don't have barrettes, make sure you don't have cornrows. It's that erasure of otherness so that we can pretend you are part of white culture, and that's something that is acceptable. And we've seen that all over the nation, and fortunately in California, we just had the Crown Act passed, so you cannot discriminate against me based on my hair, because the lengths we women have to go through to put our hair in a way that's socially acceptable.
Yeah, I just want to be clear. You guys are 100% right.
Yeah.
So it's both things. There's like this old school idea of there's a certain way you have to look, dress code, hair, etc. Then you combine on top of it, there's a certain way you should look that is traditionally white,
Yeah.
right? And we forgot that the country's not all white anymore, and it never was, of course. But we just don't take other people into account. They're like, oh, that doesn't look like a traditional haircut. Well, no, as Brooke pointed out, no, it's very traditional if you're African American, right? But they don't take that into account, and it's a disaster on both fronts. And I'm gonna come back to my point, just because, I mean, again, what Brooke, you said, Brooke, like JR's hair, you guys have seen it on there. He's a senior producer, he's also on air, you've seen him before. It never occurred to me. Like I run TYT. I never spent 1 second thinking about JR's hair until you just said it.
Yeah.
Like why? Why would I care about somebody else's hair?
Yeah.
Like I'm amazed by that someone's like, oh, I gotta make sure I regulate on that hair. I don't want that guy's hair looking like that.
In law school, they pulled us aside and had conversations with us as a group with the black law students and talked about, well, guys, if you have your hair natural, if you have dreads or whatnot, the law firms won't take you. So you need to make your cuts now. And like my boyfriend shaved his head and took out his dreadlocks so he could get in a major law firm.
In news, that's what they tell you. You cannot wear your hair natural. You have to straighten your hair because you won't get a job. Not because your hair's not beautiful, but because and it's gotten a lot better, but because you will still come across news directors who will be like, I like her hair a little more traditional. And honestly, if we normalized black hair at a young age like that, and all the other kids saw it at elementary school, maybe when they became adults, they would not ask to touch it.
Oh God.
Like what you see? Click the subscribe button below, and don't forget to ring the bell to never miss another video from the Young Turks.